Parma Hockey Eagles post-game show, and let me get right to it. I'm Mike Missinelli, where you have Seth Joyner and Derek Gunn. This was not a team that was prepared to play today. This was a quarterback who looked like he had no idea how to play today. This was an offensive coaching staff that looked like they had no game plan whatsoever, no idea what they were supposed to do against an inferior team like the New Orleans Saints. And so now what has to happen is Jalen Hurts has to play next week against the New York Giants for them to get that one win and get the number one seed. And all of a sudden, a season that looked like it was just an afterthought, they were going to get the number one seed and relax, now has to go down to the final game of the year, guys, in a pressure-filled situation to try to get a win to get that bye and the number one seed. I was flabbergasted at their effort today, and I know you guys were as well.
Well, Seth, what did I tell you on the pregame show, you and Mark Farzetta? Do not underestimate this Saints defense, number one. And Marshawn Lattimore, Pro Bowl cornerback, one of the best corners in the game, who had not played since October 9th because of an abdomen injury. He makes a world of a difference on the back end of that defense in terms of how they scheme things up. And lo and behold, you know, all these people talking about how this should be an easy game. Well, the Saints have a lot to play for as well. As bad as this season has been, they're not going to just come in here and roll over. But I am shocked at how this Saints team was able to hold the Eagles to 10 points. I am shocked at the Eagles' offensive game plan coming into this game. I am shocked that they only ran the ball 2 times the entire first half. Seth, what are they thinking? Who's calling the plays here? What in the world's going on with this team?
This is the same situation that I've been talking about all season long. All you had to do was look statistically at who the Saints were from a defensive perspective to understand how it is your game plan should have been set up and how you could attack this defense, okay? The Saints are ranked number 2 in the NFL coming into this game defensively against the pass, okay, without Marshawn Lattimore for the last 2 months, okay? You get Marshawn Lattimore back this week. The Saints are ranked 23rd against the rush in the National Football League, and we come out and we only run the ball. You're going to tell me 2 times for 9 yards in the first half to Miles Sanders, 1,000 yards rusher? Didn't we just have this damn conversation with Nick Sirianni like 2-3 weeks ago where they wouldn't run the ball and they came out and he said, yeah, I probably should have ran it more? Yep. Okay, all you got to do is look at the statistics to understand what you should have done. Listen, I don't blame Gardner Minshew. I really don't. As bad as he played, I don't blame Gardner Minshew for what we just witnessed. You want to know who I blame? I blame Nick Sirianni and I blame Shane Steichen for putting him in a position to fail. Now, why? Why would I say that? Okay. You know that he doesn't have the mobility to move around. That's the first thing. He can't make plays with his feet when things go to hell in a handbasket like Jalen Hurts. Okay. When they came out in the second half, they came out run. And when they wanted to pass, they went play action pass. And then Gardner was efficient. So why not continue to do that? Why was that not the game plan? Did you fall in love with the 355 yards that he amassed in a loss last year? I mean, again, I don't even blame Gardner Minshew. Yeah, he played like crap today. But I blame Nick Sirianni and I blame Shane Steichen for putting him in a position to cause what you just saw today, because that's not who he is. That's not the type of quarterback that he is. Defensively, what the hell are we doing on defense? What in the world are we calling? You know that Andy Dalton wants to get the ball out of his hands quick. So whether you're in man or whether you're in zone, you can't play off the ball in third and short situations and think he's not going to take what's there. Now, the defensive line, again, played his behind off. The issue is on the back end. What kind of coverage are we going to play? When you play in zone and you got guys that's just dropping the landmarks and looking at the quarterback when you got people running behind them, listen, this is going to be one of those days, okay? I've been calm all damn year. Why? Because the Eagles been winning all damn year, okay? Not today. Not today. I'm going in on every damn body today. Everybody.
Yeah, all right. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you heard what I said at the start. I've been having all kinds of microphone
Uh-oh.
issue. Okay, I'm going to sit there and blame him. He's a professional quarterback who was competent enough last week, and I know the game plan sucked today. He didn't play like he knew at the position at all, like he knew what he was doing at all. And the New Orleans Saints even let him off the hook early in the first half when they made a stupid decision to kick a field goal, 4th and 2. And then a little later, when Dalton got greedy and got intercepted, they gave them every opportunity to come back in this game. The quarterback couldn't make any plays, and their offensive game plan was a disgrace. And those coaches have to take the brunt of the criticism for that, because they didn't orchestrate anything. This team was not prepared to play, which is beyond belief to me, when they need one win at home against the Saints. And again, I know every NFL team can beat you on any given time. I get it. The Saints should not have come in here and won that game. They presented nothing of action. Even in the second half, they were begging to be beaten. They kept giving the ball up, punting, giving it back to the Eagles, and they couldn't take advantage of it at all. And a lot of it was because the quarterback stunk today, Seth. So I'm not going to let him off the hook at all.
And listen, I'm not going to go so far as to say I said he played horrible. I said he stunk, Mike. Okay? But listen,
you say he stunk.
The quarterback,
going to blame him.
The quarterback can only execute to the level of what it's like chess. Okay? I can have great pieces in front of me. I can have wooden pieces. I can have marble pieces. It don't make a damn difference, Mike, what those pieces are or what they're made of if I, the chess player, can't strategize properly. If I can't put the players in a position as a head coach and an offensive coordinator to succeed, and you know who Gardner Minshew is. You had him on this team for the last 2 years. You know who and what he is. He is not a guy to stand back there and throw the ball 50 times a game. He is a run-first guy. You run the ball. You're one of the best running offenses in the NFL. You run the ball and you go play action pass again.
I get that. I get all that. He was an incompetent player today. He played like he'd never played the position before. He was
Mike. He played that way because they put him in a position to do something. They ask him to do something that he's not able to do. You can't stand back there and throw the ball every down.
So everybody says he's a starting quarterback in this league.
No,
he's one of the top 32 quarterbacks in this league. That's
if
what
he was, he'd be on somebody's roster.
No.
He'd be on somebody else's roster and not the back.
But everybody says he should be starting for some team with all the lousy quarterbacks in this league. He was terrible today.
Who, Mike?
This was a Saints defense that was giving up 132 yards a game on the ground. What do? The lounge chair quarterback knows you come out and smash them in the mouth between the tackles. Your 1,000-yard running back had 2 carries the entire first half. The first 2 plays, they come out passing. Oh, by the way, did the Eagles forget that this Saints defense has 40 sacks coming in this game? First 2 plays, your quarterback gets sacked.
Eric, I get it. It was
they put him in an uncomfortable position.
The coaches really have to be blamed for this. But I'm not going to take the quarterback off the hook.
Now, he played like he shouldn't even be in the league today. Exactly how he played.
That's why I said, D-Gun, I wanted to know, who is it that said that he's a top 32 quarterback?
You never heard me say that.
Based upon the 350 yards they got against the Cowboys last week?
Many people were saying that there aren't 32 quarterbacks better than Minshew in this league. And last week, that was obviously embellished. Today, he didn't look like he knew how to play at all.
I get that, Mike. And listen, I agree with you wholeheartedly. This is the problem with, these supposed football gurus, who make these assertions. He's a top 32 BS, okay? Because if he was a top 32 quarterback, he wouldn't be languishing behind, Jalen Hurts on the bench somewhere. He wouldn't have came here, under the auspices of potentially, competing for a starting job and wound up where he was. He's not that good. If he was that damn good, he'd be starting on somebody's team. Now, let's deal with the reality of this, okay? A guy like him and Andy Dalton are probably on the same level. Andy Dalton, to D-Gun's point, hey, listen, the dude can have one of those days at any time. He had one of those days today. But I seen Andy Dalton play the way that Gardner Minshew played today before.
What day did he have today? What did he do that was so special?
He did enough to help them win.
He did enough in the first half. His only incompletion the entire first half was a pick.
16. He scored 13 points.
Okay, he scored 13. No, what I'm saying is
points. I mean, he didn't do anything that was that special. If you score 20 points, you win this game. It was the Eagles' offense. It wasn't what Andy Dalton did to him. Their defense in the second half completely bottled him up, and they needed a pick six to get out of there.
Do not allow this defense off the hook in that first 30 minutes.
If Gardner Minshew had played the way that Andy Dalton played today, okay, and the Eagles ran the ball with any kind of consistency, the Eagles would have won this game. Yes. So it's not so much what Andy Dalton did, it's what he didn't do. It's the mistakes that he didn't make.
He threw a bad interception.
Andy Dalton didn't go 3 and out the first 4 possessions. Andy Dalton didn't go 3 and out the first 4 possessions of the game. You know what Andy Dalton did? Okay, they went 15 plays, okay, with a Taysom Hill touchdown. They punted the next series, okay? Then they came back and they had 2 field goals by Lutz on 7 and 5 play drives. So what did Gardner Minshew do? Gardner Minshew went punt, 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 punt. And that was the whole first half.
Okay, so we had
4 punts, 5 punts, and went to the half.
We had stink and a little better than stink. He scored 13 points today. You're telling me the Eagles could not outscore the Saints today? It wasn't what Andy Dalton did. He gave him an opportunity with that horrible interception.
Which quarterback
Every
won?
Opportunity the Saints get, they gave the ball back to the Eagles consistently in the second half.
They didn't won, Mike. Which quarterback won the game?
So, Mike, I can tell you this. The Eagles did not outscore the Saints today. I can tell you that. So, where does the problem lie? So where does the problem lie? This is an all-encompassed screw-up job by the Eagles. The defense was asleep the entire first half. The offense and the offensive play calling was atrocious the entire game. Everybody takes some blame. And then the kid, the punter, he shanked 126 yards at one point and gave him good field.
Eric, I am not disagreeing with you. I am saying that this Eagle offensive coaching staff has to take a deep look at themselves for what they put out. They put slop out there. It looked like they didn't put any effort at it. It looked like to me they spent so much damn time trying to okey-doke New Orleans and they're thinking Hurts was going to play that they didn't formulate a game plan where Minshew could win the game. And it's disgraceful at this point because look where you are now. Now they've got to play Jalen Hurts whether he's ready or not, and they've got to play him against a team that is fighting for a better seed. And I don't know what's going to happen in that game next week, but you put your team in a precarious position to have to win a game with a quarterback who might not be ready to play.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for subtly agreeing with me, Mike. They put Gardner Minshew in a position to fail. Is what they did. Mm-hmm. That is what they did today with the game plan that they implemented. Plain and simple.
Yeah, but at the same token, I'm not taking them off the hook like you are.
Oh, I'm not taking them off the hook. I'm putting the majority of the blame over on the coaching staff for putting him in that position. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
We're on the same page.
I'm not saying that he didn't play bad.
Sirianni and Steichen came up with this. It's just disgraceful. That was they didn't look like – did they look like the best team in the NFC today?
No.
They didn't. And now it's starting to worry me because now their turnover differential is now getting ahead of the game where they pasted everybody and they were ahead of them in turnover differential. Now they look like a little bit of an insecure team over that.
This is the third consecutive game they do not win the turnover battle after they won the turnover battle every time this season. So they now have turned the ball over 8 times in the last 3 games.
Yes.
8 times in the last 3 games. They got lucky to get out of Chicago with that win. If Chicago had a little bit more firepower, they would have lost that game in Chicago. They should have lost that game in Chicago. Okay? So you look at where this team is right now. First of all, every team is going through the injuries right now. The Eagles were lucky to be unscathed for the most part up until about 3 games ago. Now it's finally catching up with them. Your Pro Bowl right tackle's gone. One of the best slot corners in the game is gone. Your franchise quarterback has missed the last 2 games. And oh, by the way, what are they now? 0-2 in those 2 games. And I said before that Dallas game, it's imperative that they lock up this number 1 seed. I did not want to see it come down to the Jalen Hurts having to play that Giants game because it's a division game. It's a meaningful game. And as you know, Seth will tell you, when you play one of these division games, that's when things go really bad and somebody gets hurt because you're scrapping tooth and nail. And oh, by the way, the Giants still remember how the Eagles embarrassed them just a few weeks ago. So that's an even more dangerous situation. Yes, it is.
It's the worst situation they could have put themselves in here. And this was the game where you really got to knock it down. You got to concentrate to win this game. And that means your whole coaching staff has to be dedicated and devoted to coming up with a foolproof game plan that beats a team that you're better than. And they let this team come in there and do that. And the quarterback, I mean, listen, okay, I get the game plan wasn't bad. You can't throw that pick 6 to Lattimore in that position. You cannot convert the quarterback sneak when they've done it 26 times in a row at midfield.
Yes.
I mean, these are fundamental errors that a professional quarterback should not make.
Well, not only that, but I said on the pregame show, when I knew that Jack Driscoll was playing, he is a much better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. And what do? They put Jordan Cameron on his side all day because Jordan Cameron, even though his sack totals don't show it, is one of the best edge rushers still in the game today. And sure enough, Jack Driscoll got abused. Now, I expect to see much more changes on that line next week. You might see Malott on the right side and Dillard on the left side. You hate to have that many people moving around and disrupt the continuity, but you cannot have Jack Driscoll. If you're going to play this kind of offensive scheme, you cannot have Jack Driscoll on that right side. He cannot pass block. He's not an efficient pass blocker. And that was another big problem they had today. You came out of the gate, played right into the Saints' hands when you knew that the guy on the right side was not a pass blocker. And how simple can it be? Sometimes you're so smart, you show how dumb you are, okay? You can outsmart yourself too many times. This team outsmarted itself today, basically.
Listen, Seth, I saw your tweets early, and you're absolutely right. The defensive backs didn't challenge their wide receivers. So Dalton was throwing those little piddly short passes, and they were converting third downs because they were all manageable third downs. They were 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, whatever. The game plan was, we'll run the ball, we'll chop a little bit out, we'll get a 3rd and 3, we'll convert. That's what they did the whole game, and the Eagles' defense in the first half let them do that. But then in the second half, they adjusted. The Saints didn't look like a team that was going to threaten them offensively. No. And at that point, your offense, now with a half that you've digested and kind of just like thrown out the window, all of a sudden now you have the responsibility to figure out what the hell is going on. And they get the one touchdown to A.J. Brown on which the cornerback made a bad play, and he turned it into a great play. I can't believe what I saw out there. Their offense was incompetent.
They are. I mean, listen, this gives legitimacy, in my opinion, to the assertion that, Chris Sims said that Jalen Hurts is a system quarterback. I would push back and say vehemently that Jalen Hurts is the damn system. That's the first thing, okay? He is the system that makes this offense work, okay? And if there's any validity for the fact that Jalen Hurts was a legitimate MVP candidate before the injury, this is it. Because with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback for this team, this football team, the Eagles don't lose 2 games in a row like this. The Eagles don't lose to the Saints. The Eagles don't turn the ball over 4 times, last week, and then turn around and turn it over, throw 2 more interceptions, today. They don't do that. I'm sorry. They just don't. So, I mean, but then again, you can't set your offense up and run your offense the same way for Gardner Minshew as you would for Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts is going to rescue you. Where Gardner Minshew, if the first read isn't there, the panic sets in. I felt last week, and I said it in my show, and I said it on Twitter, he looked skittish. He looked nervous in the pocket. The minute you take his first read away, he doesn't just go through his progression. Now he's starting to panic and trying to find his escape route. And for a guy that doesn't run, all of a sudden, now that panic turns into, he's frenetic in the pocket, and that's when bad things happen, is when you kind of create that pressure on quarterbacks where you're speeding up their clock and you're putting them in an element and you're putting them in an environment that makes them uncomfortable. Well, part of what made him uncomfortable is the fact that they asked him to throw the ball as often as they asked him to throw the ball in the first half. Okay? You have to run the football with your backup quarterback. It's no different than having a young quarterback who doesn't understand, is still trying to learn the offense. You run the football, first of all, and then you go play action pass off of it. And when you go play action pass off of it, now you're going to find that hole, that ball that Dallas Goedert caught, that first pass in the second half. Now you're going to find that hole. You want to know why that hole was there? Because the Eagles established the run.
Yeah, and they did that.
The linebackers were up in the line.
Exactly. And so as they start the second half, they do establish the run.
Yes.
And I thought on that first drive, all right, it was a bad call. Gainwell had the touchdown. It was a bad hold on Dickerson. Bad call. But they only get 3 out of that possession. And I'm thinking, okay, you've adjusted. You figured it out what's going on. You only get 3 out of that possession. You can't score a touchdown. And it's 13-3. And there was another play, and I forget where it was in the game. They had a 3rd and 4, and Mitchell throws a deep out. Like, you've got a tight end who is perfect for that kind of situation. They throw a deep out on that play. Now, where does that call come from? What were these guys doing today with the chart? I don't get it.
I think the biggest deficiency for this Eagles team is, and Seth, you mentioned this on the pregame show, and I chuckled and said, don't expect this. On the pregame show, Mike, Seth said he had hoped that Eagles secondary will come up and play more press coverage. And I said, don't count on this, Seth. I expect them to fully see 5 to 7 yards off the ball. What do we see? Them 5 to 7 yards off the ball. Yeah. What did the Eagles do? They allow the Saints to have wide open spaces all over the field. All over the field. You have Pro Bowl players across the board. And this is how you scheme?
They did that in the first half, D.
Trenches?
Absolutely did that in the first half. In the second, it was a different story. And like I say, and I think you guys will agree, when your defense stops them, they didn't look like they were capable of scoring at all in the second half, the Saints.
No.
So that is where your offense really has to grind them apart because you're the better offense. And I don't care if Minshew is playing. You got 2 great wide receivers and a tight end that you should be able to utilize in that situation. And I don't get what happened. I just don't get it. It was like they didn't believe they had any players out there to utilize.
The Saints defense made Minshew hold the ball because they played press coverage most of the game. They basically said, we're not afraid of Minshew turning up the field and running the football. And so what did? They stacked the line of scrimmage just like Dallas did, just like Chicago did, and they went press coverage on the Eagles wide receivers. And that was a huge difference in the game because Minshew was hesitant in making decisions. Occasionally, he found Goddard here. He found A.J. Brown in the fluke deep ball for 78 yards and a touchdown. I was hoping they'd throw the ball deep a lot more. What the heck you got Quez Watkins out there in the field for? He's one of the fastest players in the league. You don't even take a shot to him deep. You went deep to A.J. Brown, which was a fluke. When the DB stumbled, he's wide open, catches a touchdown. But you got enough speed to take more shots down the field. You don't even take the shots down the field? Are you kidding me?
Here was the telltale drive, because the turning point really should have been when A.J. Brown makes that play. That should give you enough momentum. To say nothing of the fact that they stopped New Orleans on the next drive when Brandon Graham gets the big sack. So now they get the ball, and they finally get the ball to the tight end. They get it to Goddard. And then in the flat, the Boston Scott for 23 yards. So they're off to a great start in that drive, right?
Right.
And they don't get anything out of it. 3rd and long, they don't connect, and they have to punt the football. I don't understand this. Today, I saw something that I haven't seen all year. When they needed to dip in the well to give something to win a game, they didn't have the answer. I'm not used to seeing that because they've had the answer almost in every game this year.
Yeah, you're used to seeing Jalen Hurts be able to do that.
I get it.
You're not used to seeing, Gardner Minshew, the backup, being able to do that.
He did it last week.
Say it again?
He did it last week.
No, he didn't. They lost last week.
2 weeks ago. No. Well, no, he played well last week is what I'm saying. He played well.
Statistically, he played. Statistically, he
looked like a quarterback at least in that game.
Gardner Minshew, if he's on the field, okay, D-Gun, to your point, people say that, oh, all Seth wants to do is blitz. All Seth wants to do is blitz. No. Understand. As a quarterback, it's harder for you to throw the ball against man coverage and press coverage than it is when guys are off and you can run these combination routes and you can hit holes in the zone. You want to know why? Because if everybody's jamming at the same time, and if guys don't get to the number that they're supposed to get to, now the quarterback's rhythm is completely off. You know, the New Orleans Saints knew that Gardner Minshew was a rhythm guy. He wants to throw the ball on time. He's going to throw the ball on rhythm. That's what got his ass in trouble on the pick 6, okay? He made up his mind he was going to look left to the 4 receiver side and come back and throw the slant, okay? He didn't pay attention to coverage. The coverage dictated that, you know what? If I got a double high safety and that safety's sitting right there, then guess what? Marshawn Lattimore can play overly aggressive in this situation. So the one thing I can't do is I can't just throw this ball on a rhythm and timing type of deal because he's going to jump it, okay? Now you tell me that a veteran in the NFL is unaware of that he was so unaware of that situation? No, don't put him in that situation, coaching staff. Don't put him in a situation where you know that everything that he does is timing because he wants to get the ball out of his hands because he's nervous as hell, okay? Put him in a situation, you know, where you can get your playmakers the ball and you don't have to worry about him making a mistake. But everybody knows, get up, jam the wide receivers, cause some kind of indecision on him, and he'll make mistakes. Well, guess what? Jalen Hurts ain't making them damn mistakes. That's why he's the starter, and that's why he's the most valuable player to this football team. I don't know what you think about everywhere else, but he's the most valuable player to this football team because this football team's not losing back-to-back games under Jalen Hurts' watch. He ain't going to let it happen. Gardner Minshew don't have that inside of him to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. I'm not disagreeing with you. He didn't look like an NFL quarterback today. That's all I'm saying. And you're right about their press coverage. So as a coaching staff, then it's your responsibility to scheme something else up that will make him look better than he's looking. And they had all game to do that, and they didn't do it.
You know what all they had to do? Run the football. Yep. You didn't run the football. If you knew the first couple of series he wasn't comfortable in whatever offensive design you had for this game today, you go to your bread and butter. Run that football. That's exactly what they did in the second half coming out of the gate. They ran the football. Why did you not do that? Try to establish the run in the first half. Why?
It's malpractice.
That's a huge – exactly.
It's malpractice by the coaching staff.
You want to know what it is?
They did the same crap against Chicago. You run the ball against Chicago. They didn't do it. Same thing against Dallas. You run the football. They didn't do it. 3 games in a row, they didn't establish the run when they're one of the best running teams in the National Football League.
You want to know why?
You play right into the opposition's hand.
Let me tell you why. Because this is this new mindset in the NFL, this new analytical mindset. Okay. Oh, you got to throw the ball in order to win in today's NFL. No, the hell you don't.
No, you don't.
No, the hell you don't. Because the team that normally wins in the NFL is the team that controls the line of scrimmage. Whether you're running the football or whether you dominate it through pass blocking, the team that dominates the line of scrimmage is the team that's going to win the game. Okay. But this new mindset, this new thought that, you got to throw the ball to win. So you come out early and you throw the ball all over the map and you get a lead. And then once you get a lead, then you run the ball in 4-minute offense. And that's what balances your running pass. Okay. Well, so tell me, what the hell happens when you come out on a day like today and your quarterback he's not completing the damn football? You can't make a first down. Do you guys realize that the Eagles went 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and then 5 plays for 40 yards in the half, the clock ran out.
Yeah, your first down was the pass to Goddard with 18 seconds left.
Wait a minute. That's exactly what they looked like in the first half, okay? So that theory proved itself wrong after the second series. Stop throwing the damn football and run the damn football and give your quarterback a chance to be successful. Because not all games are created the same. D-Gun, you want to know why they're doing it? Because that's the mindset of these new age coaches now is that we're going to throw the ball early and we're going to get a lead. And then once we got a lead, then we're going to run the ball late. But what happens when the passing game ain't working? Do you have the wherewithal to make a switch in your mentality right now and go to running the ball? And instead, you got one of the best offensive lines in the league. Run the damn football. That'll give you the pass that you want.
All right, we're going to take a break. There's so much to digest and dissect.
Yeah, I need a break. I need to go fill my water bottle because I'm just getting started.
Nick Sirianni's got a lot of explaining to do. Hopefully, we'll have John McMullen a little later to explain how he explained this. And we're going to talk about some injuries because there was a terrible injury early in this game that may affect them. And now you got Lane Johnson out. Driscoll didn't play well today. So let's take a breath. This is the Pond Lehocky Eagles post-game show. I'm Mike Missinelli with Seth Joyner and Derek Gunn. Deb McKinney not joining us today. She's covering the Mummers, which reminds me, Happy New Year to everybody. If there can be a Happy New Year's Day today after the Eagles lose 20-10 to the New Orleans Saints. Unbelievable. We're back after this.